Well, if you're doing a report, instead of just having raw data, it's helpful to have charts. So I have 3 basic charts here. The pie chart is useful if you have 1 row or 1 column of data. The column chart is useful for comparisons, and it's a very common chart type. Also, the bar chart works the same as the column one. It just looks different. The line chart is useful for data over a period of time. So if you want to see changes over time, a line chart is the best. Here is a basic columns chart. It reflects this data right here. We have summer and fall, and we have the river park, the view park, and the swim park. If I were to change the data and say the swim park from 40 to 80, it would be immediately reflected in the chart. So for example, I will change the 4 to an 8, and you can see that it changed. Now I'll just take it back to how it was before. When you select a chart, there are 3 buttons that will appear to the right of it. The bottom button is the filter button. I'm going to select it, and you can see that supposing I wanted to get rid of the fall values, I could just deselect it and come down and click apply. And now I've filtered out fall, and I only have the summer values. Let's put fall back in there and click apply. Let's just say I'm not interested in the data from the river park, so I will delete that and select apply. And now I just have the view park and the swim park. But I'm going to put the river park information back in there and click apply at the bottom of the page. And as you can see, it came right back. I'm going to select this again, and we're going to do the paintbrush button. I can select that, and it will give me a variety of alternatives. So I can choose any one of these, just if I want a different style. If I wanted to go with this style instead, I might prefer that one, or any other recommended style in the list. But actually I like how it was before, so I'll just go back to that. This top button, which has the plus sign in it, gives you quite a few choices. So we're going to select that next. And you can see the first one is checked, it's axes, and that represents these numbers over here. If I were to deselect it, those numbers disappear. But since those numbers give you the information that you need, we're going to put that back in there. Also, if you select the arrow to the right of it, it gives you more options. We have chart title right here, and that is this value right here. If I were to deselect it, you can see it went away. I'm going to bring it back. And of course, I can change it anytime I want. Data labels right here are really valuable, because if I don't have them, I just have to guess. I know that this green bar is over 40, but it's under 50. And I can look up here, because it's green, it's summer. And summer for river is 43 right here, this value right here. But it's better if we have those values in the chart. So we're going to select data labels. And if we want some variety with our data labels, we can click the arrow to the right and say, oh, I want it inside the base. I want data callouts. I want it centered, and so on. And sometimes you have to click data labels off if you want to start over with it. But if you click it on, and then you can choose the arrow to the right and pick any of the many choices. It's good to just try out all of these choices just to see which ones you find most useful. Now, grid lines are important, but sometimes the grid lines are the same color as the background and you can't see them. So I'm going to check vertical here, and you can see it, but it's pale. And if I had a gray background, you wouldn't be able to see it. So you have to be aware of that when you check, in this case, primary, major, vertical grid lines. But I'm going to take them off. Legend, of course, is this value right here. If I were to deselect it, we have more room here, but the legend is important. You can also change the size of these things. For example, if I thought summer and fall was too small, I could select it, come up to the Home tab, and right here, that increases the font size, or I can click the down arrow and just choose the font size that I want. That's a little bit bigger. Same thing with this over here. I can go to the Home tab. Let's just say I want that in red, and I want it in bold, and I want it larger. And that's much easier to read. Another thing, when you select this, you will see that Chart Tools, a contextual menu, will appear at the top of the screen. If I were to come up here to Chart Tools and select Design underneath of it, I can come over to Change Chart Type. So we're going to change this chart type from a column chart to a bar chart. So we'll select it, and right there is bar, and we'll go with that. And now we have the bar chart. There are other things you can do with charts. For example, you see these little circles right around the edges, circle there and here. If I want to change the size of my chart, I can go to one of these circles, hold down the left key, and drag it in to make it smaller. I could make it wider if I wanted to. I can change it about any way that I wanted to just by getting a hold of those. If I wanted to move it, I should come to one of the border areas and look for the arrows in 4 different directions, and then hold down the left key. Once I do that, then I can drag it anywhere I would like to. If I want to get rid of the chart, I can come up to the edge of it and click Delete. And you see the arrows in 4 different directions. Click Delete, and it's gone. Now I'm going to hold down the Control key and hit the letter Z and bring it back, or you can use the undo function and bring it back. Okay, I'm going to delete it again. We're going to select the edge and click Delete. Now let's have you try to make a chart. So this is the data right here, and I'm going to make it larger so you can see it better. And go ahead and add that data to your spreadsheet. Once you've added it to the spreadsheet, I want you to select this entire area. Be sure to get the headers for the columns and the headers for the rows, along with all of the data. We'll come up to the Insert tab, and if you know which type, for example, this is the column or bar chart type, you can just select that, but a lot of times it's good to use recommended charts. So we're going to select that, and we'll start with the first one. You have to click OK, and there we have it. Let's make it a little bit smaller and drag it to wherever you like. Your project is to work on this and to do all of the things that we did that was just demonstrated, which means selecting and deselecting these various items. You can deselect chart type, you can select it. I would suggest putting the word parks in there. You can change the font type of it if you select it. And after going through all of the possibilities, the styles, and the filters, I would like you to come up to Chart Tools and select that, and then change chart type. And change it to a bar type or whatever you'd like, but in this case it's probably good to stay with a bar type.